So hello and welcome to the Syncfusion webinar, where you'll learn all about how our global license resolves common business and development pain points. If you only have a few minutes or can't stay throughout the whole webinar, be sure to download the free handout, which you'll find in the GoToWebinar window, or you'll see that there's a link in the chat that you can click on to find out more about what we'll be talking about today. My name's Whitney, and I'm the Video Marketing Specialist at Syncfusion. Today I'll be your moderator. We have two presenters today, Pat Staley and Chad Church. Pat is the Client Relations Manager here at Syncfusion, and she's great at helping out with questions. Chad is our Product Manager and a Microsoft Certified Solution Developer. He's going to be showing off a few of our products. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a bit about what we do at Syncfusion. Syncfusion delivers an extensive range of more than 800 web, mobile, and desktop controls. We also empower businesses to get the most out of their data with enterprise solutions, including dashboard and big data platforms. We've been in business for just over 15 years and are headquartered in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, USA. More than 12,000 organizations worldwide work with Syncfusion software in industries ranging from finance and energy to small independent app developers. And more than 750,000 users from 125 countries trust us in the development process. So now that you know a bit more about us, I'd like to hand over to Pat, and she's going to share with you a bit of information about the value and the benefits of an unlimited license.
Thank you, Whitney, and thank you all for being with us this morning. It is my privilege and my honor to be the Client Relations Manager for Syncfusion, and as such, I have listened and had lots and lots of conversations with our clients regarding how their business is doing and what's happening, and ultimately those conversations revolve around software licensing and the fact that it's just not easy. Particularly in the framework world, we know that it's just hard because the frameworks are part of your applications, and those details of who's involved and the level of their involvement can absolutely be frustrating. Syncfusion's been in this business for 15 years, and so certainly over the course of those 15 years, we've seen how license structure and pricing models have changed, and we decided that we needed to somehow change how that all worked. But before we discuss the changes in what we're doing and how we are trying to simplify everything, let's take a look at those common pain points that I so often have heard of. Who needs to be licensed? User tracking, outsourcing, development rights, and pricing. Those are the top big 5 issues that come across in every conversation that I have regarding licensing and structure. You know, it's really important to say that while your cost can start off low because everybody wants to get you in the door, it is not uncommon at all for customers to end up spending millions on software frameworks. And the nature of this business of licensing and how to make sure that everything is covered can rob you of precious time and energy, and certainly of money as well. Again, listening to our clients and having those conversations means that as I'm talking with our executive team and the folks around the Syncfusion decision-making process on how to model our license, we've listened and we've heard, and so certainly we want to address exactly how that process looks and what we've done about that. So the answer is really quite simple. It is to take a look at your license structure and give you unlimited use for all of those development needs. We know that, especially in a global market where your business is no longer just located in a specific country or town or city or whatever, that those resources may be in a third-party vendor that's not, you know, where you can monitor the activity of what's going on. Also, we understand that technology means that you're not needing just one specific resource, but you may actually need multiple different kinds of resources. We understand that outsourcing to a third party gives you that. But at the end of the day, how do you manage those users, and how do you make sure that everything is all taken care of? Looking at the license where you have a runtime or per user fee or server fees can equally be crazy. I know of a couple of instances where I've had conversations that the development has been behind schedule, they've run a couple of shifts with their folks, and they had a per-click charge. And literally, without realizing it, they had doubled and almost tripled those costs because of the licensing structure that they had taken care of. It's interesting whenever you look at subsidiaries and how all of a sudden they can add to the cost and the management. Management alone of user licenses can be very, very time consuming. How do you know who is rolled on? How do you know who's rolled off? And unless that becomes your top priority instead of the job that you really are after, and that is the development of your project, you can be in serious trouble. So the answer is very, very simple. It is to take all of those users and encompass them in a single license, an unlimited flat fee license. So who needs it? Anybody who is working with programmatically with a DLL has to be licensed. So we want to make sure that you're not wasting your time chasing that, but that they are covered. User tracking, we want you to stop counting users. We want you to focus on the very thing that makes your company, your development, unique to the market that you're in. We know that it is us being that silent employee in the background, so that gives you the ability to just focus on your development so that as you go to market, you stand out. We want to make sure that you're not stressed over counting users. Outsourcing. Again, as I spoke to that third-party component that is so vital in so many of our clients' lives, we know that you need to have the assurance that you're not going to be penalized in any way for doing this. So we give you outsourcing with no worries. And deployment rights. There are no hidden fees. With Syncfusion's flat license licensing model, that's licensing twice in the same sentence there, with that flat license model, you absolutely are covered so that you don't have to have the worry or the concern of how that looks. And then last but not least, pricing. So now you're thinking right now, okay, this is the catch. Where is there going to be the other shoe that drops? What's going to be hidden? What's going to be taken and that I'm going to be caught with? At the end of the day, it's one flat price. And that is simply starting at $3,995. This encompasses everyone. So from your tester to the developing person, to the developer, to the manager of that particular product, to your architect, whoever it is that has to have access to do the things that you need to do with your project, they're covered. For companies with less than $1 million in revenue, this is a fantastic price for you to be able to take advantage of. In summary, who needs a license? Everyone. The issues they face are complexity with the licensing structure. User tracking, stop counting the users. The time it takes to add, remove, and manage is just a resource that you can do away with that sucks up your resource and time. Outsourcing, you have no worries, everybody is covered again. There aren't any hidden fees for users or servers or runtime, and certainly pricing is one flat price. We want everyone to take advantage of this. We understand that your business is vital, and in our global economy, we have to help you to do your business quicker, faster, and more efficient. Syncfusion, flat license takes care of all of that. So let's chat with about what is included in that global flat fee license. And Chad Church, who is our product manager, absolutely can show us some of those frameworks as well as the fully developed products. So Chad, I'm going to switch this over to you. And it is all yours, sir.
Hey, well, thank you very much, Pat, and I appreciate that. Thanks for going over all of our licensing issues and how we solved all those problems for our customers. And now you have licenses with us, but what can you do with those licenses? What do you have? What do we have to offer to use those licenses with? Here is our product suite. We have a range of components and frameworks for web, desktop, mobile. We have file formats let you edit and create any of these file formats directly as a background service. And we have our enterprise solutions. These are full-fledged products you can install and start using. You don't have to write any code. And I'm going to start with our data integration platform. This is actually built on NiFi. We've wrapped it up. It's a web app. It's a web service that runs, and you have the ability to work. This is an ETL tool, is what this is, and it starts with a data flow. And the data flow is going to come in here, something like this. You may want to get some Oracle data, and then you want to do some massaging of that data to make it suit your needs. You may even want to get some data out of a flat file, maybe a foldered structure with some log files in it, transform that data. And then, of course, you want to take these two data sets and merge them together and do some logic on them so they make a little bit of sense. From there, you may want to put them into a MongoDB or SQL Server or NoSQL, or put them back into a file structure. You'll want to put that data somewhere. You could want to put it back into Hadoop. You may want to set it into HDFS. You may need to do some Hadoop processing on that data. You may not. You may just want to let it be your data repository there in HDFS. And so you have all this cool data that you generated, and it's in some data structure which is entirely not user-friendly. So you got to make it friendly. We've added a bit here so we can create a data file for our dashboard. The dashboard is entirely user-friendly. It's a nice, pretty interface. I'll show you that in just a minute. But first, let's talk about Hadoop. And we have our Big Data product, which is Hadoop on Windows. There's a Big Data Studio that is for development. You'll put this on your desktop. It'll create virtual nodes. You can go through all of your scripts, make them do what you need them to do. And then we have our cluster manager, which is a nice, and both of these are nice, rich user interface applications with plenty of charts to let you see what's happening. The cluster manager is meant to manage one cluster or a collection of clusters. If you already have some existing clusters in Hadoop, we can't pick them up and manage them with this application directly. And the cluster manager will look a good bit like this right here. As you manage your cluster this way, you can see what's happening with it. You can step in, you can watch the processing, make any changes that you need to make as things are going along. But it's a nice, rich UI for doing all that work. So then we have a dashboard control. The dashboard is a very cool way to let you see your data. This web page here is our dashboard manager, our dashboard server. It lets you manage your users and your dashboards and based on permissions. Users can see whatever they're allowed to see. And they may want to see a dashboard that'll look something exactly like this, perhaps. And it is interactive, so you can set it up such that they can select different pieces of data they want to look at. You can set up these widgets here so they can filter if they need to. You can let the controls be interactive. So if I want to drill into, say, daily living, I can see what my expenses are for that. You can set this up such that the dashboard can reach out to another application. So this winners list widget over here, if I click on Argentina, it's going to take me to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia wants money from us. Let's close that real quick. This is the Wikipedia page. This right here was the parameter that was supplied by the data at runtime, and the rest of that URL was you typed into the widget itself. Now this dashboard control can connect to a variety of data sources. We have SQL Server. This is my FIFA World Cup sample, as a matter of fact, and I'm talking to You can talk to a collection of file formats, some actual databases themselves, if you want to talk to Azure Table Storage. If you have a web API, you connect to that here. And if you want to talk to Hadoop, the HDFS file system, HDFS, you can Spark SQL or Hive. You can talk straight into where you just put the ETL data. You did Hadoop manipulation if you wish. You can talk to it directly here from your dashboard. And dashboarding is great, but you may want to do reporting a little bit different. You may actually want to do reporting with a different style of reporting. This is our report viewer. This is from our reporting package. The report server looks just like the dashboard server. You have users and reports. The reports look like this. They are file-based reporting, so it looks like a sheet of paper on my screen. And if the idea is there'll be multiple pages in this, if I need to save this to a particular file format, I can. If I want to print this, I can print it directly from the control itself. And this RDL file format does support parameters. So for example, if I want to look at a different set of data, these parameters can have a parent-child relationship. And I can select like this, click a new report, and I have that particular set of data. So this is the report server, the report viewer product. So that is our dashboard, our reporting. That is our data integration. That is our data integration, our platform, report platform, big data, and dashboarding. Now we also have components and frameworks across the other development environments, web, mobile, and desktop. And I'm going to show you real quick our WPF applications. Desktop is Windows Forms, WPF, and UWP. We love Windows Forms. It's been around forever. WPF is a little bit newer, and I'm going to show some WPF samples here. This is our collection of controls over here on the left, and we've seen over time that this is pretty much what everybody needs as they're building their applications. Here's a spreadsheet control that gives you customization. You can change the spreadsheet, put formulas in it, do a lot of work with that. We have, I'll pull up a couple samples here. We have a map and a gauge control, and this guy down here left is a range navigator, which is a very quick, easy way to let you zoom in to your set of data, and the entire page can actually bind to what's within these thumbs here, this thumb region. We have a pivot grid. This will pull up pivot grid, whether it's OLAP data or just a regular data table. You can pull it up, you can do your transformations, do your pivoting, just like you would in an Excel spreadsheet. Pivot grid is here. See, we also, with WPF, with our desktop controls, we have a docking manager to let you create a docking interface similar to Visual Studio. And if you need to do UWP, we have UWP applications here. This is our chart control. Chart control, you can set up a series template. Maybe you want to make your chart look like this, or put a car on it, make it look nice and exciting, or just a little bit different. So this is all customizations available to you in UWP. We have a set of controls. See, if you keep pay attention as I'm going through, you'll see that all of these controls are similar across all of our platforms. And so let's take a quick look at our web platforms. And that's going to be over here. That's going to be over here. Our web platforms are all based on JavaScript. So we have wrapped it up so it plays nice in the Microsoft technologies, MVC, Web Forms, ASP.NET Core. We also have built them out for Angular, React, TypeScript, PHP. These are all, but it's all built on JavaScript. Here's our control library for JavaScript. And again, we have a grid, spreadsheet, chart, Gantt, schedule, all current custom typical cast of characters across all of our platforms. The spreadsheet control, this is Excel on your client in your web browser. It does support the calculation. So this, and actually these calculations are worked from a separate control called calculate. So you can put this kind of functionality, this kind of math on anywhere on your page. It is interactive, so as the numbers change, the math goes up. And this does do exactly what you expect Excel to do for you. If you want to make changes to the look and feel, You can do that. It's available to you here. We even support the undo and redo functionality. So it's all available to you here in the spreadsheet control. Spreadsheet control also has a schedule. This is a sample for our schedule control, and the idea here is the schedule is here in the middle, and we have it's a doctor's office. We're showing you the ability to drag and drop items onto the schedule, and then you can customize it. This window here can be fully customized to suit your needs, your look and feel. It's just a JavaScript template. And then the appointment is here. Now, if I need to, I can come back in and I can actually change this appointment, let it be bigger, perhaps, whatever I need to do with it. It's available to you there. We have a Gantt control. This does exactly what you expect Gantt to do. You have a grid over here on the left. It's a fully customizable grid. You can change your columns, rename them, do sorting, do filtering. It's all available to you here. And then the Gantt chart is over here on the right, which does exactly what you expect it to do. For example, if you talk to your customers and it takes them a lot longer to approve the project, you can show them how it's going to delay the delivery of the project. It's all available to you here with that. And this is a collection of some smaller controls. We have your up-down boxes available here, text boxes, calendar controls, pick from. The slider that you work this way with it. And if you want to book now, this is our diagram. So diagram is a fairly static diagram in this case with a picture in the back. But you can see how you can actually manipulate it this way. So an airline flight will put the parents in the front and the kids in the back to make a nice happy flight for everyone. And this is what you can do, something that you can do with our diagram control as it is right now. So that's our diagram control. We do also, one last thing, we do support our pivot grid. So just like Excel, just like with WPF, if you have a pivot grid, you need to do this kind of logic, this kind of interactions with your data sets. We have the availability here for you, whether it's a data set or an OLAP cube. It's available for you to step up and start using it. And JavaScript is great, but you may actually want to do mobile as well. And you could do mobile with JavaScript using Ionic. So you may want to take your JavaScript pages, throw them and put an Ionic wrapper on them, and then run them on your device this way. And this is going to be our controls in an Ionic wrapper running on your device. The option is here for you to do this. Okay, so you can do something like this on an Ionic device. But this is a hybrid application, and not everybody wants to do that. So we also support Xamarin. And with your Xamarin applications, you have it here. So this might be what you want to do. You may want to do something on Xamarin. And this, by the way, this application here is available now in Google Play. So you can go get it and give it a play. It's a Xamarin application. It is the actual source code for this comes when you download our Xamarin Forms, our Xamarin application. It comes down with it. So you can actually get the source code for this and get it up and running. This is available. This is a Xamarin Forms application. You get to play with it and see what you're doing here as you're going along. So we've talked about everything you can do with our licensing, and you should be up and running now. And I am Whitney. I'm going to give this back to you. I've been through all of our products. You've seen what you can do with Essential Studio licenses, how it could help your company. And Whitney, you want to go ahead and take over again?
Thank you, Chad. And let's see. So before we get on to questions, and I've seen some great questions coming in, we'll be sure to answer those out in the session. I'd like to mention our community license. So for those companies making less than $1 million US in revenue, all of the Syncfusion products, everything you've just seen, are available for full use, including in open source projects. There are a few limitations on the enterprise solutions, but all of the 800 tools and components for web, mobile, and desktop are freely available for those companies making less than $1 million. For those making more than $1 million but less than 100 million, we do invite you to take a look at this, the flat license, the global licensing options, because we feel like that's a really great value that's being offered there. So again, we do have plenty of customers who built up their businesses starting on the community license, and we're always happy when more businesses and more developers join that community. it's time to end the session. Thank you to all of our wonderful attendees for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time. Pat and Chad and Daniel, thanks for your time presenting and answering questions. We hope we are able to convey the incredible value offered by our global license. And for those interested in learning more, our contact information is right there on the screen. You see sales@syncfusion.com, a couple of phone numbers there, and our website. Of course, don't forget to download the free handout, which you'll find in the GoToWebinar window, or check the link in the chat box for both the community license and the unlimited global license. Please do watch your email inboxes for a follow-up email with a link to the recording of the presentation. That should be coming out in the next few days. Thank you again for your time and interest, and we'll see you next time.